It's hot. It's dark. You're carrying hundreds of pounds of equipment. To firefighters, it's just a typical day on the job.
It's chaos. The adrenaline's pumping, your heart's pumping. It's a totally uncontrolled situation.
But on Tuesday, it wasn't just firefighters donning the turnout gear. Elected officials from across the state were invited to get a small glimpse into what firefighters deal with every day.
This was a lot harder than I ever anticipated it being. I am physically exhausted.
We wanted to show you guys just what it was like, but at the same time, we didn't want to make it to be too much.
Whether it was a simulated burn, searching to find victims, cutting into cars with victims trapped, it left participants with an eye-opening experience.
Now I just have even more respect. I can't believe they do this every single day, and I can't believe that somebody would want to put their life on the line like this.
After spending a day learning the basics of firefighting, I can attest to just how difficult the job it is. And the fact that one firefighter dies every 3 days makes training like this take on a whole new meaning.
And that was the goal, was to give people a real sense of what we do, try to help them understand some of the things we go through.
Even under safe, controlled training conditions, intense would be an understatement. But while the participants always had the option to tap out if the day got too tough, when firefighters come out of a burning building, it's usually only to change out a bottle and head back in. In Albany, Barry Weigel, Time Warner Cable News.
You're getting in the doorway, you want to get low.
I think the average civilian really has no concept of what we go through.
Down and dirty search, guys.
For centuries, people like Patrick Hines have answered the call of duty with few people understanding why or how they do what they do.
2 hours, 3 hours we've been here. These guys do it daily. I'm tired. I'm tired.
Tuesday afternoon, that changed. The Albany Fire Department invited local leaders and the media to gear up for what's known as Fire Ops 101. We got the chance to go through training like new recruits. Learning how to use a fire hose, carry ladders, and attempt to rescue victims with blacked out masks to simulate an actual fire.
Temperatures at the ceiling level are approaching 1,000 degrees, and we really need to stop that process and cool the ceiling before it gets much beyond 1,000 degrees, because at that point we reach what are called flashover temperatures and the space becomes unsurvivable.
While the mission of these men and women hasn't changed, the battles they fight certainly have.
In a real fire where actual synthetic furnishings and modern furnishings are burning, there's absolutely zero visibility. Everything in a house nowadays is essentially solid petroleum products, so it generates dark, thick, black, nasty smoke.
While visibility is typically difficult for any given call fire crews respond to, departments like Albany are fortunate to have what's known as a thermal imaging camera. It works much like a video camera, with the hottest parts of the fire showing up in white and cooler parts darker.
That camera can make all the difference between getting in the front door and locating victims and locating the fire, or just kind of banging around lost in the darkness for 3 or 4 minutes and then getting chased out of it.
New materials used for furniture and technology not only make fires more challenging, chemicals they emit have increased the cancer rate in firefighters. Few departments have received funding for multiple sets of turnout gear, so fire crews don't repeatedly use uniforms with chemicals on them throughout their shifts.
All of our stuff is getting old and getting into disrepair, and it's getting harder every year to replace it. I'm probably a standing example of that. I could use some new gear.
As policymakers, we need to realize that the men and women in the fire service, they need all the tools that they need. And we need to make sure we provide those tools not only for the men and women in the fire service, but the people that we represent, and make sure they're protected. And I give these men and women a lot of credit for what they do to serve our city and our community. And without them, it's a battle.